Welcome, everybody, to episode 37 of Meet with Cheese Metaverse Interviews. I'm your host, LaDrop with Cheese, coming to you always from the Metaverse. And today I have an outstanding guest for you. She is the co-founder of Flosverse. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Alison Chiwara. Thank you so much for being a guest on my show today, Alison.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, LaDrop. And again, pleased to be here. And you pronounce my surname beautifully. People often get it wrong, so I'm really pleased. A good start to the interview.
Yes, the name is, very important because people butcher names, and then that's always important for me to make sure that the guests are happy. And
I
thanks
agree.
again for being here. So, yeah, tell us a little bit about your background and how you ended up to where you are now, being the co-founder of Flosverse.
Of course. Thank you so much once again. So I'm Alison Chiwara and co-founder of Flosverse CIC, which is based in Scotland, but of course, trying to train as many women and bring them into the tech sector throughout the world, wherever we can reach. So my background is I had worked in IT and telecoms for a number of years. I also trained as a nurse, believe it or not, at the very start of my teenage career, and left that because I found tech quite exciting. I always, I used to work with people that used to say, in the tech sector, you can write your own check. And I truly believe that. And I think that is still the case. And I moved from the tech world about a year and a bit ago to start my own company, which is mental health, corporate mental health facilitation company. Again, brought on because of the pandemic. Throughout my life, or most of my life, I've always been involved in women empowerment. So a few years ago, I met Florence, who is the founder of Flosverse CIC, who has become an amazing friend. So not only are we business partners, but we actually have a friendship, mutual understanding. We share so many other views that we just simply click on, as the children call it. So I met Florence. Florence has had a background in blockchain technology since 2016. An educator herself, a teacher by profession, and continues to learn. She has many other accolades against her name. So a few years ago, Florence had been training women in Web3 technologies, particularly NFTs, and just encouraging women from Africa to actually, usually mostly emerging countries, to actually go out there, be, content creators, and actually make money on this platform that is the metaverse. And so I was really intrigued. I didn't know very much about NFTs, the metaverse, never mind Web3. And following her and having attended some of the lessons, I was like, wow, this is actually really exciting. And she says, well, up until she came here to the UK, originally from Nigeria, when she came to the UK, she had discovered that the same challenges that women have elsewhere in other parts of the world were the same challenges that women here in the UK had, i.e. access to access to the technological, if you like, workforce environment, and actually women actually partaking and actually making a real impact within this sector. So fast forward a few months later, I was like, we can make this big. We should do more with this, make it more formal. Why don't we do something? So we sat down, we started working on really getting women into training. Originally, we wanted to just do returners. So women that had already left the sector, taken a career gap in between. And so there was a huge uptake with that. And to date, Florence single-handedly had actually trained over 500 women herself previously. And within the cooperation of the organization, at least we've trained about just over 1,500 women that have attended some of our seminars, etc. And so Flosverse was then born. Flosverse was born to train and educate women in elementary, if you like, metaverse and Web3 technologies or futuristic digital skills. So as we say it here in the UK, and really to try and get young girls and women to get excited and be encouraged to go into this sector, which I'm afraid has been predominantly a male-dominated field. We wanted to change the narrative. So at Flosverse, we train young girls aged 13 to 17 in mainly 3D modeling and 3D design. And it's really elementary stuff. And so we are forever growing and reviewing how we do things.
Wow, that is fantastic. When I forget how we actually met, but it was through LinkedIn. And once I look at Flosverse, I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys are empowering women in a male-dominated industry, which if we're building the foundational pillars for the betterment of humanity right now, it cannot be only men doing that. So I applaud you for what you're doing. And I'm really that, you know, everyone out there watching this is going to be able to learn a little bit more about what you do. And some of I looked at your website, and you know, it says that there's 38 meta girls trained and 120 plus upskilled women. Tell a little bit about those, what a meta girl is through Flosverse.
Yes, thank you so much. So Meta Girls was really meant to bring fun to the table. I often think that, you know, one of the barriers that women face is technology becomes really a serious subject. STEM subjects are really serious subjects. That's how they're perceived. We wanted to bring, you know, the rock and roll into what we were doing. We wanted to bring something that was relatable, and hence the name Meta Girls. So Meta for the metaverse, and the girls, of course, because we're dealing with girls. And so to date, we're just actually, we need to update our website. It's still in beta mode, I have to say. So to date, we've just trained just over the 38. We've got 8 that are just graduated, and another 5 that are just about to come on and or through graduation. So that number is increased since then. But it is really going into schools, into the communities, and actually looking for girls that have passion. We truly believe that, you know, that passion stems from, I like a little bit of, you know, 3D designing. I like digital fashion. And I think that avatars have actually been a really good helper for us who are trying to educate young girls. Because if you ask any young girl aged between 13 and 17, they either have an avatar already that they have through gaming, or through, you know, some, you know, fashion design games, or just really through, you know, their is it TikTok. So I think that, you know, the evolution of avatars has really pushed the idea, I think, of the Web3 technologies, the metaverse forward even quicker than we actually thought. So there's already a lot of familiarity within the community. So with Meta Girls, we are really training young girls that just have a passion. You know, we believe that, you know, your skill sets should not be the limit to what you can potentially do. After all, I'm somebody who comes from a non-technical sort of background. In technology, I've always worked in the marketing and sales sector, the admin side. So I've never really been involved in the hands-on skill sets. And for me, that was also an area that I really wanted to change and see improvements come back to. Because I think that where women are placed in, there's a lot of diversity of thoughts and a lot of diversity of processes. And I think that's what we wanted to bring, a different dimension of creative thinking, critical thinking, that often lacks when a table is not balanced. And so with the Meta Goals, it's just really been going into schools, into communities, working directly with community organizations that are already empowering young girls, or getting girls to actually do something with their lives. We are very open to who we work with, as long as you're aligned with what we believe in. Are you educating girls? Are you elevating them and empowering them in the process? And most importantly, enhancing their mental health. But all of these things help us to also realize one of our 5 E's, which is equality. You know, I think the equality can be, you know, can be measured in so many different ways. But one of the things that we also wanted to bring to the table is inclusion. And inclusion is really a mindset. That's what we believe. And so it's actually going out in the community, going to schools, and trying to open that atmospheric inclusion and diverse thought thinking that allows even girls of, you know, who are perhaps, you know, transitioning. You know, if you familiarize yourself as a girl, then you are into the Meta Girls. And so we're very open in terms of, you know, who can get into it. And if you already have skill sets, even better. In terms of the upskilling, I think that women are very much disadvantaged in so many ways than one sometimes, not all the time. But when we start a family, you kind of take automatically a gap within your career anyway, whether that's going to be 6 months, whether that's going to be a 2-year gap, I don't know. But in between all of that, there's life-changing moments that actually happen. And often you find women that had skills then become full-time mommies, or they actually decide, I want a less stressful job. I want to just do something that is part-time and doesn't allow them to continue doing the work that we're doing within the tech sector. And so with the upscaling, we were trying to identify those women, or women that actually can, or who are keen to transfer their skill sets, as from another, say, sector. So that could be HR, that could be admin. I always think that there's enough room within the tech sector to transfer skills and actually make them work. And so that's what we've been doing in terms of upskilling and reskilling women who are much older, 18 and above.
Wow. Yes, this is all great things that you're talking about. I'm very excited for what the numbers are going to look like in a few years from now as you get more popular, and just the volume of women that you're able to empower for the benefit of their own futures. So this is an exciting time for you guys. So if a young girl is interested in joining Flosverse and is curious about the curriculum, how do they join and how long is the program?
Yes. So at the moment, so like most startups, you continue to review how you do things. So initially, with the upskilling, reskilling, it's a 12-week course. And again, in order to get onto that, you either contact us and email us through our info@ email address, so which is info@flosverse.com. So info@flosverse.com. We have a number of social media handles, which again, I'll hopefully share with you at some point. So we've got, we are on LinkedIn, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, and also on Facebook. So we're trying to create as much accessibility as possible. For us, access is really, really important. And of course, we have our website, on my LinkedIn, Alison Chiwara, and also on Florence Arlo, our founders' LinkedIn, is our phone numbers. So you can actually contact us directly. We like to be hands-on. And at this point in the stage of the business, we very much want to take on an organic approach to how we do things. So, enrolling in any of our courses is very simple. You email us and cite your interest, and we'll get back to you and advise you of the next cohort. And the beauty about it is our cohorts are often mixed. So it could be women from Algeria, women from Zimbabwe, Nigeria, Canada, all over the world, because most of our courses actually take place in virtual spaces. So anybody and everyone can actually get in at the same time, obviously time zones permitting. In terms of the Meta Girls, at the moment, we are focused on working directly with schools. We are just about to take on another new cohort with St. Margaret's, based here in West Lothian. And again, we have reviewed, because we were doing 12-week courses. That can be quite mundane to young girls who are just thinking, do I really want to go into tech? So again, we have taken on feedback, we have listened, and we've reviewed how we do things. So for the Meta Girls, at the moment, within the school sector, it's an initial 4-week course, and the 5th week is your graduation. We always want to pat your back at the end of what I think is a remarkable journey into learning something new and actually embracing something new. The metaverse and Web3 are still very new areas. Any futuristic technologies continue to revolve. So when we get young girls that are interested, we want to make it extra special. So there's always a graduation at the very end of that cohort. So our 4-week really focuses on 3D modeling, so 3D design from sketching, modeling, right up to rendering as well. And again, that's not an area that I'm really averse to speak about, because that's normally Florence kind of stuff that she teaches. But we are very, focused and very deliberate in ensuring that the course itself is very elementary. It is fun. So during that 4-course week, each cohort has a dedicated tutor. And within that 4-week, we also have mentors. And that could be, next time, that could be you, Joseph, Ladrop, it could be you. And so we're always getting different people that add fun to the process, because again, I believe that learning must be fun. And at the moment, with in terms of the medical, with the schools, is that we actually appealing to all the schools that want to incorporate something different, something that is futuristic within their curriculum, to actually contact us. And again, we're contactable through our LinkedIn, our website, and of course, our universal email address, which is the info@flosverse.com. And we will get right back to you. And again, the one thing that limits us is the equipment, because we use VR headsets. So it becomes like a waiting kind of scope, if you like. But we are always open to taking on new schools and actually planning ahead. And at the moment, we're really keen to actually look at more government schools where the funding is probably less, and actually working with them directly, just to see even if we can create a really small cohort that actually enables them to actually see the potential or the difference that these kind of courses and programs that we offer actually make to increasing their intake as well on STEM subjects.
Yes. Wow, that's great. So you're looking for mentors, you're looking for students, you want to keep the learning fun. And the future, I
Yes.
see it, learning is going to be fun. Kids are going to want to like go to school because it's going to be gamified, like how you're using VR headsets. If I was in school nowadays as a young person, I would love go to the International Space Station on my VR headset and take a look around in my science class, and these are the things that kids are able to do nowadays. So the fun learning and the play to earn model is going to be taken off like wild.
Absolutely. And I think that has been what has been the most fascinating thing for me, and why I'm actually really, really interested in immersive learning. I think it's quite engaging. As you say, there's loads of fun elements to it. I can't even, I know of organizations that are driving STEM and STEAM in schools through various subjects, through various initiatives. But, like you said, I can't think of a better time to actually include immersive learning into our curriculums than now. I think, as I say, it's much more engaging. And also, contrary, I think, which I'm going to be a little bit controversial, contrary to what people think, that, there's a whole lot of, mental health issues involved with immersive learning. Well, I beg to differ slightly, because I think that, even from my first experience going onto VR, headsets, I actually was wearing it with my sort of corporate mental health sleeves on, if you like. And I actually found it quite therapeutic to be around. I mean, I'm looking at your background, I'm thinking, wow, I love that. Now, that is the environment that we're trying to create for our learners. So there's a lot of fun, there's a lot of imagination, critical thinking, creativeness around what we're actually doing, and a bit of storytelling alongside it. And I just think that in today's environment or educative systems, there has to be something that allows free lateral thinking. What we do at Flosverse allows that and beyond. And as you say, immersive learning is just going beyond, I think it's here already. I don't want to think it's going to happen next year. It is here. And I think that it's about people embracing it right now, when it's still, I suppose, affordable for people to actually get in and actually learn a lot more. Because actually the girls that we are training right now, they're actually going to be, I hope, the experts in 5-10 years time, because they jumped onto this a little bit earlier. So, and I know the advantages of using immersive learning, even where, in neurodiverse schools, where it's been known that autistic children have actually enjoyed learning within the compounds of immersive learning, because it provides actually, I think, a safe environment, if controlled, of course. And I know there's still regulatory issues around it, but I think that there's more that can be had. And I think that immersive learning introduces a whole dimension of learning, as you say, play to earn, which is fun. Who doesn't want to make money? And I think that the idea that you can make money, still be learning, and not know that you're actually learning, I think that is the beauty of it. And I think that's what we're trying to get these girls to understand, that, futuristic digital learning is actually beyond just serious getting stuck elsewhere. And I was really keen when you mentioned, the whole play to earn is really big at the moment. And I think that is part of why schools really need to look at it. And not only does it teach them new skills, it's actually the idea as well of being entrepreneurial, I think. So there's a lot more to what you're actually learning through that. You know, the idea as well of time management. Okay, I need to do this to earn so much. You know, I need to do this and upskill my skills so that I can unlock a certain level and so on. So actually that idea of play to earn is actually in its own a real innovation within the education sector, I think.
Yes, the play to earn, and also there I saw some learn to earn as well. So if you're learning certain curriculum, I mean, even Coinbase, which is like the
Yes,
largest exchange in the US, maybe the world, not Binance, I think is the biggest in the world, but Coinbase, every few weeks there's a new protocol or new blockchain, and if you just learn about them and take a quiz, and it takes you like 5 minutes, you earn cryptocurrency, and then you can exchange it for US dollars. So
that is
there's a lot,
amazing.
yeah, a lot
I
of
was just going to say that I'm already thinking that we have to bring you on our next cohort to talk about NFTs, definitely, and learn to earn for sure.
and I would love to be a mentor. I was raised by a very strong woman. And from a young age, my mom, I was born in the 80s. So my mom's like, women don't have the same equal advantages that men do. And it is a
Yes.
young, I didn't really understand it, but I was aware. And the older I got, the more it was obvious to me. So at this point, I'm all about empowering women, especially because I see such a male dominated industry here.
Yes.
I'm a media partner with the Web3 Summits, which is Women in Blockchain, and
Wow.
I'm
Yes.
everything I can to help with that. I'd love to be a mentor. I'm not like a developer, so my brain doesn't
Yes.
think of immutable ledger and ERC 721s as words that I want to use to communicate effectively.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, if you want to
I'm the
understand,
same.
yeah, if you want to understand what an NFT is, first you need to understand what Web 2 is in
Yes.
layman terms, what Web 3 is, what the
Yes.
metaverse is, and what a blockchain, and then you tell them what an NFT is. So that's,
Absolutely.
I find people comprehending that way. And I actually was speaking to the students at Concordia University this past week, and
Oh,
I
wow.
explained all these things to them. They understood it. They downloaded their first free NFTs. Not one student owned any. And then at the end, we played an augmented reality app called We Dream, where you can like shoot
Yes.
fireworks and laser tag and throw basketballs. It's super
Yes.
fun. And all the kids, I'm like, I'm just going to do a quick 5-minute demo. We ended up playing around for like 15, 20 minutes at
That's
the end.
amazing.
Fun.
Yes.
So this immersive fun learning that you want to teach your cohorts, I am all about it. I will make recommendations
Yay.
to you guys to have fun and gamify your experience while you're learning too.
Fantastic. Well, we'll definitely be getting in touch with you on that one. I'll hold you to it. Mentor
Yeah.
for our next cohort. Thank you for that offer. I'll thank you in advance.
Yes, absolutely. So your background was in telecom. I have my background is slightly in telecom too out of college.
Oh,
So what
wow, really?
tele-
Okay. Well, I worked for BT, one of the biggest British telecoms, of course, here in the UK. Worked for a number of digital management companies here, also in West Lothian. And it was actually just really my background throughout telecoms has actually been in selling and actually creating telecom solutions. And then started off on a desk just doing telesales when I was really young. Left telesales to go and be a business development manager. And business development manager moved on to pastures anew, where I was actually putting together solutions for telephone systems, VoIP, etc. So it was really quite fun. But then again, one of the things that always stood out to me is that I never saw female engineers. I never saw, any network engineers at all throughout that. And so it was really, and it's probably one of the drivers as to why we are where we are. We really need to create that sort of visibility that even myself as an adult did not see. I would like my children and their children to actually come, sort of grow up in an environment where, the tech sector is actually saturated with everybody. It's quite diverse. There's so much inclusion, but the numbers really within the tech sector are quite staggering. And that has to change. And that is why Flosverse was born, just really to drive numbers up. And again, for me, having been in the telecoms industry, I was really, I suppose, blessed because I had such a great career out of it that I stuck in it for many, many years. And when I decided to leave the telecom sector, it was to do something completely different. So actually pursuing a more purposeful lifestyle than chasing money, so to speak.
Yes. Well,
So what did you do? Sorry, in telecoms? What was your background in telecoms?
I commend you for staying in telecom for that long, because for me, it was about 4 years. It was out of college.
Oh, really? Uh-huh.
Yeah. So my first job out of college, I was selling T1 lines and connectivity service. I was selling phone and internet to businesses that already had phone and internet.
Yeah.
But I was really good at it because, I'm
Yeah.
kind of like a sales guy, right? I'm still selling all the time, but
Yes.
it was churn and burn. Like, we were required to go into 50 different physical businesses a day and say, hey, this is our telecom offering. Are you interested? Most of the time it's no, but I found a good niche and I stuck to these types of businesses that were these sizes in these areas. And I found a lot of success. And then after I got out of telecom, I bought a bar.
Oh, wow.
So
Well, that's extreme, but okay.
yeah,
Good
I
for
was
you.
from the age of 18 on, I always worked in restaurants, part-time while I was in college. Even when I was working at telecom, I still liked to bartend and do that kind of. So I turned it into my whole livelihood for a couple of years. But yeah, it was quite a transition from grinding for a company for so hard for 4 years, and then able to do something that I really wanted to do. So, and now I'm exactly where I should be, talking to you.
Fantastic. Amazing. And you're good at it. So yeah, you're brightly positioned, very much so.
Well, I appreciate that. So you also we were talking a little bit earlier about, I'm a big conference guy. I'm social. I need to meet people and see what they're building, what's going on. But you were able to go to Metaverse Week in London earlier this year, right? Tell us a little bit about the experience.
It was really, really enlightening. So that was the NFT Metaverse Week in London in July. Exciting time. So it sort of coincided with the London Tech Week. So of course, the timing was perfect for London to host us because you had all the tech gurus in town. So it was brilliant. Went one of our good friends, Dexter, who is also within the Web3 space, was also part of this group of people that put this together. What was really poignant was, there was such a huge mix, and it was the first time I walked into a room and women kind of dominated the room. It was really exciting. And I think there was a testament to the potential of the Web3 space and the metaverse space in terms of bringing gender parity. So that was really exciting. And in terms of, people that were working on NFT projects, I just kind of felt like, I think in the US and beyond, people are further afield than we are back here. We're still trying to learn the ropes and getting it right. And I also think that, I still think it's still a very, very small community, and we need to grow that community. But I think we are on point and on track to doing that. And with all of these, organizations like ourselves and other organizations out there driving futuristic digital skills, I think it's becoming apparent that people are like, oh, I want to learn a little bit about Web3. I want to learn a little bit about the metaverse. And these NFT conferences and events are bringing home those messages. But it was really, really exciting, and met some really amazing people that are doing fantastic. Anna Stoilova, one of them, who also has her own gaming app, and doing fantastic, and another woman, Empowera herself. So it was really an exciting space. Nina Patel was also there, and I think the drive for for NFT events is becoming more so. I'm in a group called Women of Web3, and every day I'm hearing of different events all over the place. But then again, I suppose, I think there's always that thing where people are having these conferences, and then again, it's about how much of the crowd are we bringing to these events? And I think that's kind of the question, the big elephant in the room, really, that there's so much work that's been done by people like yourselves, pushing NFTs, pushing the metaverse, pushing Web3, technologies out there, initiatives. But then again, how, are we circulating the information to the same ears, or what can we do, to drive the message beyond the boundaries of our own communities?
Yes, definitely. Well, I really love what you're doing at Flosverse. I commend you. Any way that I can help, I'm here to help you. But tell us, how can what are your social media handles? How can we follow you and help you?
So the best way to follow us, where we actually maybe make the most impact, is obviously our LinkedIn. So we have a LinkedIn page, Flosverse CIC, and our logo is normally in yellow. I wish I had my my pitch deck handy. I would have showed you our logo, but our logos are yellow and or blue. I noticed that there's another, when you type Flosverse, you normally get Flow something, another company. So we are Flosverse, is an FLOSVERSE CIC. And LinkedIn is the best way to get us. So we have our own page on there. We are also on Facebook, and again, we're Flosverse CIC. We are also on Twitter, and we are also on Instagram. And we are really trying to, and again, to be fair, we are always out there doing different things. I think we've got another event planned as well here in the UK, hopefully either sometime this month or early next month. We're just about to, next month, or January, and we're just about to finalize on that. But for all of you that want to get in touch, please also go to our website, which is www.flosverse.com. So www.flosverse.com.
Awesome. Yes. And thank you so much for your time and, telling us about your very important mission in Web3 and empowering women. And I'm really happy that you're doing this. So thank you so much for your time today, Alison.
Amazing. Thank you so much for having me. And I'm hoping that the next time we speak, you'll be on part of our mental list for the next cohort. And again, thank you so much for bringing a platform like yours, where initiatives like ours can be aired. And of course, people can learn about what we're trying to do within our small communities. And so thank you so much, and all the best with your podcast station.
Yes. Thanks again, Alison.